Hello, thank you for joining us on Your City in 5. I'm Ricky Saillas. On this special edition, we focus on Mayor Dee Margo. He has been the mayor of El Paso for nearly 4 months. Voters elected him on June 10th. He officially took office on June 27th when he was sworn in before presiding over his first city council meeting. Mayor Margo, or Dee as he's also known by, has lived in El Paso for more than 40 years. After attending the University of Vanderbilt, he moved to the Sun City in 1977 from Nashville, Tennessee, to join his father-in-law at John Williams Company, or JDW. Shortly after his 29th birthday, Margo purchased JDW after his father-in-law suffered a heart attack. As the owner of JDW, Margo grew the business from 6 employees to 70 within 30 years. Mayor Margo has held a number of prestigious positions. He served as a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. He participated in the founding of the Regional Economic Development Corporation. He was the chair for the Greater El Paso Chamber of Commerce, and he has volunteered for several nonprofit organizations, including Operation Noel. Margo also served as state representative when he was elected to the House of Representatives in 2010. Not too long ago, Margo was appointed as president of the El Paso Independent School District Board of Managers. And recently, the governor appointed him to serve on the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute of Texas Oversight Committee. Margo and his wife, Adair Margo, have raised their sons in El Paso, and their granddaughters are fifth-generation El Pasoans. Mayor Margo is a proud El Pasoan. He loves the Sun City and is fully committed to serving the El Paso community. Without further delay, allow me to introduce our mayor, Dee Margo.
Thank you. You know, my script says thank you for that warm welcome, but I pre-approved it, so I don't know. Well, it's been 4 months, actually 114 days today, but who's counting? And we have hit the ground running. I was joined by a dedicated team of 5 new council members and 3 veterans, all who are dedicated to making the hard decisions and improving our city. Allow me to recognize that dedicated team. So please stand and remain standing. District 1, Representative Peter Swartzbein. Peter has a great heart for the arts and for promoting El Paso. District 2, Representative Alexandra Anello. Alex, I'm a big fan of hers. She started out with a lot of challenges with Alberto, and I have immense respect for her and all that she's been doing. District 3, Representative Cassandra Hernandez-Brown. I call Cassandra Miss Due Diligence. She reviews everything in detail. District 4, Representative Sam Morgan. Sam, a great advocate for the Northeast, but also retired military, adds a great dimension to us. District 5, Mayor Pro Tem Representative Dr. Michael No. I don't know if he's able to be here today. Is he here? He's not here. He brings the institutional knowledge, which is the main reason I wanted him as a veteran, as Mayor Pro Tem, and as a fierce advocate for the east side of El Paso. District 6 is alternate Mayor Pro Tem Representative Claudia Perez. She's also one of our veterans. She brings a real balanced perspective to us from an historical perspective and is truly passionate about the Lower Valley. District 7, Representative Henry Rivera. Henry brings 30 years of law enforcement experience to the council. Immeasurable. Thank you. And District 8, Representative Sissy Lazarga. She's a teacher from a long-time El Paso family, and her husband is a district judge. What a balance we have there. Thank you, council. You know, when we arrived at the city, we came into an organization that was running strong with projects and a budget ready to review, a well-developed strategic plan, and an excellent administration. And I've said on numerous occasions, while I served in the legislature on the Appropriations Committee, the information I received from our city staff was every bit as good from a budgetary standpoint or better than I received while serving in Austin. Within a few weeks of being at the city, we were recognized as the #1 best managed city in Texas, which, as you can imagine, I had nothing to do with. This was due to the leadership and administration led by our city manager, Tommy Gonzalez. Tommy, would you please stand? The leadership team is comprised of our Deputy City Manager, Kerry Weston, Deputy City Manager, Dion Mack, Deputy City Manager, Kahil Zayed, Managing Director, Ted Marcus, Managing Director, Monica Lambrana, Interim Director for Municipal Finance, Robert Cortinas, our City Attorney, Sylvia Firth, our Chief of Police, Greg Allen, and our Fire Chief, Mario D'Agostino. Thank you, leadership team. I also want to thank all the department heads and the 6,000 hardworking, dedicated city employees. Our city is going through a real renaissance. I also don't want to avoid being remiss, and I want to introduce my family. My son and daughter-in-law, Don and Elizabeth Margo, and their claim to fame is that they're parents of my granddaughters who are fifth-generation El Pasoans. Y'all supposed to stand up. And also, Richard already recognized Olivia. I consider her part of the family, and today is her birthday. She's my chief of staff. But certainly not last, I want to introduce my trophy wife of 41 years, Adair. Now I'm going to segue into something a little different than normal. I want to talk about our Amazon bid. This is what our Amazon bid looked like delivered today. Okay? There's nothing in here. Media can sit tight. They don't need to rush up here. There's nothing in here. But this is what it looks like. It's an estimator's thing. And I want to talk about that. People sometimes ask, why El Paso? Why would you consider going after Amazon? Well, my truly rhetorical comment is, why not? And let me start out with a question for all of you. How many times have you all brought in a family member, people who've never been to El Paso, family member, close acquaintance, a business associate? You've described El Paso to them. They land at the airport and you start driving down I-10, and what's the first comment they make? That's really Mexico? You're that close to Mexico? You have a mountain down the center of your city? I had no idea you were as large as you are. Am I right? I want to help you understand who we are. El Paso County has 865,000 in population. The city of El Paso is 650,000. Our region with Juarez and southern New Mexico comprises 2.7 million people. We are the 6th largest city in Texas. We are the 19th largest city in the United States. We have over 20 million northbound crossings in a year from Mexico. We are the largest bilingual and bicultural workforce in the Western Hemisphere, with an average age of 31. We have 250,000 vehicles traversing I-10 on a daily basis. I also must add, it was only built for 100,000. We have 8.5 million visitors to our outlet malls on an annual basis. From June of 2016 to July of 2017, we had the second highest employment growth in the state of Texas at 3.2%. Number one at 3.6% was Dallas, Plano, and Irving. And when we look at what Amazon talked about, $5 billion in investment, 50,000 new folks coming in, we've already done it. Remember Fort Bliss and Bragg, beginning in 2005. We prepared for a $5 billion investment that's grown to $7.6 billion, and we prepared for 60,000 new people coming to El Paso. 36,000 troops plus dependents. So, you know, as I say, we've been there, done that. I know of no other community in North America that can say in the last 15 years they've done anything remotely related to what we have done here. I say biblically, we're like a light under a bushel basket. We are a hidden jewel that we need to shine the light on. We must each educate and inform regarding El Paso. Amazon Competition helps provide a platform for El Paso. Our team was led by the Borderplex Alliance with support from the city, the county, UTEP, Texas Tech, New Mexico State, Juarez, Las Cruces, Workforce Solutions, and many other partners. I've never seen a better group come together. There were over 50 people sitting at the table. Now let me segue into another item, NAFTA. It's critical to our region. We have $90.3 billion in U.S.-Mexico trade crossing through the Borderplex region in 2016. $90 billion. 17% of all the U.S.-Mexico trade comes through here. El Paso is the 10th largest exporting city in the United States. We are the #1 exporting city to Mexico. Detroit is #2. We are the 6th largest manufacturing hub in North America. We have over 360 manufacturing operations, 70 Fortune 500 companies, 290,000 employees tied to the U.S.-Mexico trade in our region, $8 billion in annual purchases, 76 related facilities in Las Cruces and El Paso, and 50,000 jobs in El Paso are tied to Mexico. Every 4 jobs created in Juarez creates 1 job in El Paso. You get the picture. NAFTA is critical. Now let's talk about the El Paso specifics, commitments, challenges, and successes, where we are today and where we're going. On our commitments, we have a quality of life bond program that voters overwhelmingly approved in 2012. Proposition 1, parks, recreation, open space, and zoo improvements, was approved by 75% or 110,000 voters. Proposition number 2, for museum, cultural, performing arts, and library facilities, was approved by 72% or 102,000 voters. The bond program includes 118 projects, and I'm happy to report that we have completed half of those projects, 62 to be exact, within the last 5 years. We have 41 projects in the design phase, and 11 are presently under construction. Aside from the bond projects, we also have completed other quality of life projects that include 21 playground replacements, 8 spray parks, and 1 dog spray park for every district, 32 neighborhood improvement projects, and 4 community development grant projects. Your City in 5 has done some great reports, so I want to look at this video, but I also want to mention that Your City in 5 received the 2017 Municipal Excellence Award on Communication for all cities by the Texas Municipal League 2 weeks ago in Houston. Okay.
Those quality of life bonds you voted for a few years back are yielding more results. City leaders officially turned on the new lights for the baseball fields at Ponder Park. The hike and bike trail on Viscount between Montwood and Sunmount is now open and ready to use. There are other similar trails in the city, one on Independence Road in the Mission Valley and one on River Bend in the Upper Valley. City leaders and special guests commemorated the opening of the playground with a ribbon-cutting celebration. The All Abilities Playground is the first of its kind in El Paso. It's designed for children with special needs. The grand opening of the Pavo Real Spray Park. The park is filled with colorful interactive water features like a huge dump bucket, water slides, water cannons, and fountains sprouting up from the ground. Pets have their very own section where they too can enjoy the water. The 23-acre plot of land on Pendale and James Watt that will become Argo Park will have green space, benches, a walking path, a playground, and a dog park. Well, kids who live near Mission Hills Park in West El Paso are now enjoying a new playground and canopy. In the last couple of years, a skate park, walking trails, and park improvements have been added to neighborhoods in the Northeast. A link called Quality of Life Projects on the city's homepage takes you directly to a list of projects. It has information such as the start and estimated completion of a project, the cost and funding source.
Let me share some updates on our 3 signature projects. Regarding the Children's Museum, the city and its partners have completed a strategic master plan, hired an executive director, and have launched an architectural design contest for the museum project. These milestones are integral steps in the project's development. The Children's Museum will be constructed in the downtown Arts District, a site that formerly housed the Greyhound bus maintenance services. The Mexican American Cultural Center. The city will continue to its work with a variety of stakeholders to successfully realize that project. Planned to be sited within the vibrant downtown Arts District, the site will celebrate El Paso's unique borderland culture and history, and will serve as another cultural asset, further enhancing the visitor experience for both local and out-of-town visitors. We're going to make it happen. Regarding the Multi-Performing Arts and Entertainment Center, the MPC, the project is progressing, the site has been selected, and the next step is to get an architectural engineering firm on board to design the facility. A recently issued court order has affirmed the city's position that it can build the facility in the Union Plaza using bond funding approved by voters. The ordinance and the bond election are legal, valid, and incontestable, and no one may challenge the legality going forward. The city is authorized to issue bonds and to construct the MPC, and as long as it is built in accordance with the judgment, no one may challenge the legality going forward. The expenditures made before the ruling were all legal and proper and cannot be challenged legally. The MPC may be new construction. The voters authorized the MPC to be located in the downtown. The bonds already issued are valid, legal, and incontestable. Aside from the Quality of Life program, we are looking at all the assets readily available in our community. One major investment the city has is Cohen Stadium. We have heard repeatedly from our Northeast community and received comments citywide. What are the plans for Cohen Stadium? Representative Morgan and I have been working with the city manager and staff to what we call Reimagine Cohen. We are committed to revitalize that great investment. I can't share much more, but we have some great ideas to share in that area, and we invite everyone to a community meeting on October the 23rd, this coming Monday. We are working with the Camino Real Regional Mobility Authority to complete the construction of the El Paso streetcar, a true passion of Representative Schwartzbein. Once completed, it will be run by Sun Metro. The staff has already hired an experienced team to oversee the operations. The first car is set to begin testing the route in January of 2018, and it will be open to the public by late 2018. We also have the Sun City Lights Initiative, which aims to define and highlight entrances to the city's iconic corridors and neighborhoods to create new economic development opportunities by combining public art, urban design, and neighborhood revitalization strategies. The first of these signature archway projects will showcase Kern Place. This project was incorporated into a street and pedestrian improvement project along Cincinnati, Glory Road, and Baltimore streets. The next project will be the Paseo de las Luces. Our partners at the Central Business Association have been working with staff to really liven up that area and make it a great shopping district, as well as a beautiful, welcoming area for our visitors from Mexico. The City of El Paso is committed to maintaining the strong relationship with Mexico and our sister city of Ciudad Juarez. On October the 30th, we will have a joint council meeting with Ciudad Juarez with a focus of updating the sister city agreements we have with our neighbors. I also want to recognize the El Paso Housing Authority. who, together with the city, is committed to providing outstanding housing opportunities. This very morning, they just announced their next housing development, the Blue Flame Building, which will become another fantastic housing complex. We have the 14th largest housing authority in the nation, serving 40,000 El Pasoans. They have embarked on the nation's first and largest revitalization effort, over 6,100 units at $1.3 billion, and let me emphasize, at zero cost to our local taxpayers because they're using public-private partnerships. I also need to reiterate our close relationship with Fort Bliss, our largest employer. Representative Morgan, the city manager, staff from Borderplex and the Greater El Paso Chamber of Commerce, and our civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army and I spent last week in Washington at the annual Association of the U.S. Army meeting, supporting Fort Bliss, its mission, and looking for opportunities to expand our defense industry, investment, and jobs. In April, the city hired a military liaison, Dwayne Williams, to enhance our relationship with Fort Bliss. We're focused. Now on to challenges. I've shared several commitments the city has entered into in an effort to provide a great quality of life in El Paso. However, along with those commitments do come challenges, and budgets and funding are always a challenge. Our biggest challenge as a community is that our tax base is 70% residential. It's actually 60% pure residential and another 10% with multifamily added onto it. We are atypical for any other city in the state of Texas commensurate to our size. Lubbock and Amarillo are 50-50 commercial and residential. Along with that challenge as to our mix is the fact that our tax base valuation only grew last year 1.4%, the lowest in the state of Texas. We walked into our first priority as our budget. We have a 9-1 fiscal year. There was a solid budget proposal in place which allowed us to work efficiently, but there was also a predetermined tax increase there because of a approximately $15 million commitment to police and fire contracts. I wasn't quite aware of that. I don't think most of council members were. But the number one priority of our city charter is public safety. And I want you to understand that 76% of the city's budget is compensation. 60% of that, police and fire. We reviewed the needs of the city and provided input on areas that needed additional attention. These areas included public safety, streets, and quality of life project funding. I know when I was campaigning, these are the areas I heard most about: resurfacing, potholes, and public safety. All of us that were running for office this year heard about that. I'm happy to report that the 2018 approved budget addresses these needs and more. Let's look at the video.
El Paso City Council passed a budget for the 2018 fiscal year. The budget has a heavy emphasis on public safety, El Paso streets, and improving quality of life. Here's what this year's budget will provide: public safety, public safety, public safety. Pay raises for police officers and firefighters. More than 100 new cadets in the police academy, with 14 of them dedicated to a crisis intervention team. Creation of 4 academies for 911 communicators. Replacing police and fire vehicles, including 300 police cars. Another priority is street improvements. More pothole repairs. A plan to speed up street resurfacing projects by 3 years. Plus, more funding for ADA accessibility, meaning an increase from $250,000 to $500,000. Quality of life projects are also a budget priority. 60 projects have already been completed and 21 new projects are scheduled for completion. The city will have 3 aquatic facilities. The west side 50-meter pool will be completed, and more amenities will be added to current spray parks. The new budget also includes requests from city representatives such as a film pilot program, additional street lighting, ADA accessible restrooms at Argo Park, 2 drones for the fire department search and rescue, improvements at Thomas Manor Park, ADA accessibility improvements at Veterans Park, a pedestrian path on Brown Street, and adding changing tables in city restrooms. The new budget provides so much for residents. The $398 million budget does include a property tax increase. Homeowners will see an increase of $43.78 per year on a $100,000 home. That comes out to less than $4 a month. However, the new budget continues to provide tax relief for seniors and the disabled through tax exemptions. They will pay $13 less on a $100,000 home than they did in 2015. Even though tax bills are paid to the city only receives about 26% of total property taxes. School districts receive almost half of property taxes, and El Paso County and University Medical Center, which is a county tax, receive 23% of your tax dollar. The new budget achieves a number of goals, building for sustainability by completing projects correctly, helping property owners by attracting more visitors, increasing sales tax revenues, appealing to investors, creating more jobs and retaining graduates, increasing the commercial tax base, and creating a better quality of life for all El Pasoans.
I think it's safe to say that this budget is solid and does not include a lot of fluff. It's addressing the needs of our community that we've been requesting, that's been requested for years. We're going to take care of the priorities that we're responsible for. We will fulfill our fiduciary responsibilities, I can assure you. But before I begin discussing our successes, I just have to say, you know, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great city. We have a great city. Could I hear an amen? All right. I already mentioned when we were being named as the best managed city in Texas. We've also been recognized for the lowest crime rate for a U.S. population of 500,000 and over for the 5th year in a row. We're the second nationwide in top employment growth rate. We're one of the nation's best large cities for families. And these are just a few. We are continually being recognized in various areas. We are also succeeding in revitalizing our downtown. We have great events such as Chalk the Block, the Downtown Management District's Running of the Bulls, last year's Winterfest that really lit up the downtown and brought families to enjoy new holiday events. And I know this year's Winterfest will probably be even better. These programs help our downtown businesses and help solidify downtown as the true center of our city. I mentioned the teamwork going on to help investment in our city, and the best example is downtown. Before I continue, I want to recognize the work of our downtown management district does by keeping our downtown merchants updated, assisting with events, and helping with keeping our downtown clean. These are all very important to the revitalization. In the last 3 years, there's been over $300 million in private investment, 21 downtown incentive project agreements. You hear about these agreements, I want you to understand that the majority of the incentives that we've been providing are state sales tax rebates through a program that expires in 2019. We're going to take advantage of as much of that as we can. An additional 1,400 hotel rooms are either in place or under construction. Hotel Indigo, Marriott Courtyard, Paso del Norte, which is formerly the Camino Real, the Stanton Boutique Hotel, the Aloft Hotel, and the historic Plaza Hotel. We now have over 300 residential opportunities, the Essex Alley, Campbell Apartments, Franklin Apartments, Art Space Lofts, the Savoy, the Abdu, and the Martin Lofts. And most recently we announced the West Star Tower, which will be a multi-level Class A office building and the first major commercial office building to be built in our downtown in nearly 40 years. All of this is being done by our great team at the city and our strong business community. We're offering new hotel rooms, new apartment living, while at the same time preserving our historic buildings, such as the Bassett Tower, which will be the Aloft, the Banner Building, the Camino Real Hotel, which is now the Paso del Norte Hotel, the Stanton Boutique Hotel, the Martin Building that beautifully lights up our downtown with its electric city signage, and last but not least, the Plaza Hotel. We've also had great successes throughout the city with new amenities, shopping, and restaurants. And we are actively in negotiations and working closely with council, the business community, and the company management teams to get agreements in place for more amenities and resort-like events. This is a major success because it says El Paso is now being viewed as the next location for these exciting businesses. One particular business looking at us views us as an international destination. Overall, in the past 3 years, we have had over $900 million in investment in our city, and we're going strong. The El Paso International Airport is also adding to the success with renovations throughout. A new marketing wall will promote the city to visitors when they arrive. The marketing wall will be unveiled in the coming weeks, and most importantly, we have more direct flights. We heard you, El Paso, and we're trying to deliver. Allegiant, Southwest, and now Frontier with nonstop flights to Denver and Chicago. In closing, how about another amen? We need all our projects mentioned completed, and as soon as possible to provide sales tax and hotel-motel taxes to offset our residential tax base. It's going to take us a while to get all the commercial base built up. We need people visiting our city and purchasing our goods and services. These investments provide us that opportunity. We are a great community with much to offer our residents and visitors. It is up to each of us to help inform and educate. Jobs and investment follow an educated workforce. Your city administration is committed to work with our school districts, UTEP, El Paso Community College, Texas Tech, and all providers to help improve outcomes, just like our investment with the Medical Center for the Americas. We need to tell our story, and we encourage everyone to share great city photos on their social media accounts for our Amazon bid using the hashtag El Paso TX HQ2. Remember, we are 3 states, 2 countries, and 1 region, and each of us has to be an ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. How can you not be excited about that? Thank you for making El Paso a better and safer place. And I can feel the energy coming out of this Amazon proposal. Dee, at the Chamber, we want you to know that we value your strong partnership and the bond that we have with you, with Council, and with City staff. You always work well with the Chamber on our critical issues that impact both business and El Paso as a whole, and we truly thank you for that. As a small token of our appreciation, please accept this gift in recognition of your first State of the City. Thank you, Dee, for all you do at the Chamber and for our great city. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you, Steph.
He took the proposal. In closing, I'd like to recognize the city and the Chamber staff who have worked tirelessly to make this event a success. Please give them a round of applause. Chamber staff, you're done putting on events for the year, except for the gala. Which reminds me, if you haven't done so already, please join us at this year's Chamber Gala, December 1st. Sure to be a good time. It's on a Friday. Spasmatics will be here, and it's a great way to start off your holiday season, so please join us. In closing, once again, let me thank all of our sponsors, and a special thank you to KTSM for live streaming the event. for anybody in El Paso who has internet access. Again, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Everybody, you all have a great afternoon.